in many ways, the best literature that's written, sometimes maybe just the best literature could appeal to both children and adults.
And really should, because they're human ideas. I think that just having literature as part of one's life is so enriching and so rewarding, not just for yourself, but how we live.
I so agree.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think that's so beautifully put. And, I think that there's something about when you're experiencing a piece of art as a young person that you find yourself enveloped in it, right away. And it doesn't take a lot,
Right.
for your imagination to be sparked.
Exactly.
And I feel like the best kind of literature that's written with children in mind, might benefit from the fact that the child reader is just kind of going along with it, but the adult reader who has learned a few things and experienced a few things is now looking at it and reminds us of the importance of, I think, what you called silliness.
Yeah.
I would say play.
Play.
Because
That's even a better word. It also helps to shape and feed our imagination. We have the capacity to imagine, but we have to have stuff to put into that.
That's right.
Into that capacity. So there's so many books that are for children to not only inform them, but to develop their imagination as well. So
Beautiful.
While they get it in stories, they also get a lot from the nonfiction side as well.
That's beautiful. That's so great.
I love the idea of it because in literature, a lot of times animals are used to speak the voices of the issues that people have.
Yeah.
Which really comes through a lot in children's tales.
That's true. It really comes through in the opera, as you'll see, which is that the animals, the idea that humans are embodying the animals on stage, like opera singers embodying foxes and vixens and badgers and mosquitoes and all of these things. There's obviously an element of play in that.
Exactly.
But I also think something really beautiful about the notion that when you ask these performers to take on these animal characters, it's something you don't necessarily get in writing, but you ask people to embody these animals. And you start to realize the strangeness of how we interact with animals, that we kind of impose our own behaviors and our own morals and our own ideas on animals, which have their own
thing.
They have their own thing. The opera itself, it very much asks us to think about our relationship to nature.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that I love that art and literature and music can really do, which is remind us of our place in the basically in the natural order. Where sometimes we do have, humans have a tendency to have a kind of arrogance about us being the most dominant presence in nature. And I think this is a good moment to be reminded of with some humility as to where we are in the larger
and given
scope.
the issue around climate and climate change and the environment and being more thoughtful about what we do with our stuff.
That's right.
It's all part of it. So I think that this is very timely right now.
Yeah.
We can reassociate ourselves with the natural world. Putting it together with what we would, some people like to say the high arts. I don't know if that's a good way to say it. But just putting that together with opera, comic, opera, illustration, animation, all of that combination of the literary ideas to be really shown through those lenses, that's exceptional.
Yeah,
I really think.
Well, thank you, and I'm really I think you really hit on something that's really important to me, is that people don't think of opera as a quote-unquote high art versus something that we would maybe call a quote-unquote low art, like comics. But actually to say that there's an equality among the arts,
Absolutely.
and they're all pathways to bigger understanding of the world and of each other, and broaden our imaginations,
And also ways to knowing who we are as humans and what we do as humans.
Right.